The words financial plan often get thrown around in my industry, and many times clients don't have any idea what it actually means. Because it sometimes means different things for different situations. However, one of the words in financial plan is actually very consistent and very hard to do, and that is the word plan. All right. So, a financial plan, to kind of summarize, is a detailed or sometimes somewhat detailed a roadmap that we implement based on a variety of concerns for our clients and what they're trying to do. It takes into account your objectives, your income, your lifestyle, your investments, your taxes, and a host of other things as well. So the plan is built around you. And at the same time, we work around the constraints to maximize your income, maximize your returns, minimize your taxes. And at the same time, we're trying to deal with probably thinking about and assumptions about transitions between spouse from the standpoint of health, death, or disability, or somewhat. Okay. So the thing is that when the plan gets implemented, then that is actually when the real work begins. And that work is you. That's when you start living your life. Because I can provide you the most best looking Excel spreadsheet that is going to maximize and minimize things to high heaven. But at the end of the day, it now has to fit you and your life. And one of the things we learn is that life is not static. You don't live your life based on inside my Excel spreadsheet. So over time, as we monitor the plan, usually annually, but then about every 2 to 3 years, we do kind of a deep dive into the plan to kind of see, hey, is our thinking still the same? Does it still make sense? And here are a few reasons why your financial plan actually does change over time. Number one is as you get into retirement, then you start getting a feel of what retirement feels like. Do you have enough income? Do you need less income? And so on and so forth. And that sometimes a little bit into retirement, you have to tell me, and we, kind of see if the plan still makes sense. Number two is this one actually comes up often is Social Security claiming. One of the things we've proven and learned and through math is that the longer you wait for Social Security and the different claiming strategies you can use, you can actually maximize your Social Security that over time is going to provide you a lot more income. Well, what happens is that as clients start aging into their late 60s, they start rethinking that. And they start coming back to me and say, why am I waiting? And so on. And even though I can show you the math, sometimes in your mind it doesn't make too much sense. But if it doesn't affect anything from the standpoint of it's not going to harm anything, then we can go ahead and change the plan. The other part is that objectives change. You retired when you were 65 or 66. Now you're 75. Now you're 80. Well, maybe your same thoughts that you had when you were 65 or 66 is not really a real objective anymore that you really care about. Or sometimes at 75 or 80, things come up that you weren't thinking about when you were at 65. The other reason why things change is because, platforms change and technology changes rapidly in my industry. So if there are going to be things that are going to simplify your plan, simplify my job, simplify your tracking, simplify just everything even in a more cost-effective way, meaning a lower cost to you, and really not change your plan from the standpoint of you will still meet the same objectives, then we're going to go ahead and do that. And that happens often now as technology changes in our industry. And then, of course, there's things we hardly can control, and that is death, disability, health, long-term care, and so on and so forth. Although we try to plan for it, sometimes that sort of hits us in some places that we didn't plan for. So in any regards, understand that financial plans will change. As a matter of fact, they will always change. And taking a look at the reasons why our plans change, one of the things we notice is that they seldom change Almost none of them change because of the economy or the markets. Okay, maybe sometimes depending on the situation, but quite often is for another reason. So understand again that financial plans will always change, but one thing that doesn't change is the process of planning. That process of planning will allow us to always understand what the objective is of that plan, and again, understand why we did it. So with that, I'll see you next time on Financial QB TV.